is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Picks and Bets brought to you by Prize Picks. If you haven't checked out Prize Picks, making bad life choices. Sign up using promo code MMN MLB. That's Mayo Media Network, MLB in acronym form, and get yourself a nice little $100 deposit bonus. 100% match, so just put in $100, get $100, free money, play through it, and it's yours to do whatever you like. Free money, always a good thing, and you don't even have to do any research. Just watch these videos, be getting put out multiple times a week. I'm here every single Thursday, so free plays, put them in, make money, and that's pretty much the end of it. But in any case, this is, again, Fantasy Picks and Bets over on the Mayo Media Network. If you haven't done so, like and subscribe. But that's enough of that. We go ahead and got that out of the way so we can get to all the stuff. Prize Picks currently doesn't have any lines up for tomorrow's slate. So go ahead, check out the Twitter feed for the Mayo Media Network, and I will have my picks up there as soon as they come out, and should be able to check in the morning, and they will be there. But let's go ahead and get to a nice little 8-game slate. I couldn't remember at the top of my head, but pretty good slate for Thursday. Lots of stuff going on. I've got some pitchers for you. I've got some stacks for you. I've got some bets for you, and I got some plays for you. It's an absolutely fantastic slate. Not a whole lot of cut and dry things on it, so it makes it a real fun one. We got a few aces up at the top, some with some bad matchups, and we got some pitchers that are just plain bad. So we're going to have some bats on this slate. We're going to go ahead and get started here with my pitchers. First one up, Sean Manaea, 9.3K going up against Seattle. Seattle's a fairly high strikeout team. Haven't been great recently, although they did just play in Colorado. I know that kind of helps with bats, but first game outside of Colorado is generally a huge downgrade for bats. Always takes a little bit of time for the eye to fully adjust to the difference in elevation. So it's being played over in Seattle, right at sea level, about as big of a difference as you can possibly get in elevation. Sean Manaea is a very good pitcher, sitting at a 3.6 xFIP with a pitcher's ballpark, and he's got a 25% K rate going up against a high K rate team. So Sean Manaea is probably my favorite pitcher on the slate. Yes, you can go up to Buehler. Yes, you can go up to Descalfani. But I like Manaea here. I think he's the best play of the bunch, especially with that little bit of price savings you get from those other guys. So Manaea, absolutely fantastic play. Probably my top pitcher on the slate. Next up, we got Charlie Morton going up against Philly. Again, not the greatest matchup in the world, but Morton has been absolutely fantastic this year. Been a little bit up and down at times, but the upside has really been there. Over the last 7 games, I believe he has 3 over 30 fantasy points. You're not going to get much more upside, and I'm hoping that his ownership is going to be a little bit depressed on this because he is going up against the Phillies. Not the easiest matchup. Being played over in Philly, not the best ballpark, and they have a 4.3 implied team total. So I think that might keep people off of Morton, especially since he's had a few down games over the last 3. I still think he's a fantastic play. I still think he has a ton of upside. Again, not the easiest matchup, but the price tag of 8.7K is pretty solid. Morton, Manaea, probably 2 of my top pitchers on the slate. Again, still the night before. Things can change. Anything can end up happening. But these 2 guys, as of right now, my 2 favorite pitchers on the slate. Now, let's get on over to stacks here. We'll start off with the Twins going up against the Angels. Andrew Heaney is on the mound, and guess what? Andrew Heaney gives up a lot of hard contact, a lot of fly balls. He's a solid overall pitcher. That is absolutely true, but guess what? Gives up bombs, and the Twins have a lot of guys that hit the ball hard. Now, he gives up hard contact to both sides of the plate, so I really don't worry too much about the platoon split here. He's a guy that seems like he's a little bit splits neutral this year, but the upside is absolutely there with both sides of the plate. So first guy I absolutely want my lineup is Garver. Came back from that injury that was terrible, but happens, I guess, in baseball. But in any case, hit 2 bombs, been pretty hot since the All-Star break, since he came back. 4,400, you get that catcher position out of the way with a guy with a lot of power. So he's first guy I want into my lineup. Next up, Nelly Cruz, mashes lefties. And he's a guy that just absolutely crushes the ball. I played him for years going up against lefties. I know he hasn't been as great this year, but still fantastic power hitter. 5,500, easy play for me. Next up in the stack, Max Kepler, 3,900, a little bit too cheap. I know the lefty-lefty matchup, but that might keep some people off of him. He hasn't been as great this year as he has been in years past, but I'm still under the assumption that he is still a very good batter. Has a 273 ISO versus righty so far this year. I'm going as Heaney being a splits neutral guy. So I'm not really worried about the righty-lefty splits as much because I know that Kepler does have a lot worse numbers versus lefties. So 3,900 is too low of a price tag for me. I plan on throwing him in. And then any other way you want to round out the stack, that's up to you. I'm fine with almost anyone. Sano, obviously a ton of pop. Simmons, super cheap. I don't like playing him ever, but he's super cheap. Polanco, Donaldson, anyone who's in the lineup, I'm entirely fine with throwing in there. But I really love this stack today. Again, Heaney gives up a lot of bombs. You might be better off three-man stacking it, which is why I put in Garver, Cruz, and Kepler, because I'm searching for those home runs. But a full stack is absolutely not out of the question. Next up, we got the Braves going up against the Phillies. Guess who's pitching? He's not good. He is very bad, and I don't know how he's still in the league. Matt Moore is not a good pitcher. Lefty, I prefer to target righties going up against him. He's actually been pretty solid against lefties so far this season, but against righties, numbers are just bad. They are just very bad. On the season, 405 WOBA, 290 ISO, striking guys out at 20% clip, but walking a ton of them. 42% fly ball rate, 46% hard contact rate. Matt Moore, not good. I just play everyone. Every single one of the righties does not matter here, but my preference are the guys that can hit bombs, and that is Albies, that is Swanson, that is Riley. All these guys are sitting at a fairly high ISO on the season, going up against left-handed pitching. We got Swanson added 175 against lefties, but against righties, 216. Average that out more towards the middle. We got Albies better versus lefties by a pretty wide margin with a 299 ISO and a 409 WOBA. And then Riley, 203 ISO. So Moore gives up a ton of hard contact, ton of fly balls to righties, but you can throw in Freeman if you want. You can throw in Jock Jams at a pretty affordable price tag of 3.5K. Even though Moore has had pretty good numbers going up against lefties so far this season, he's still not a great pitcher. So I'm fine with targeting anyone, but the three guys I absolutely want in there, like I said, Albies, Swanson, Riley, all fantastic plays. And then individual bats, all of them are kind of similar. So Swanson and Garver, both guys that I told you I really liked in my stacks, but two guys that are not on the list are going up against Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery is a pitcher that is a whole lot worse versus righties than he is versus lefties. So I like a lot of these guys with some power, or a few of these guys with some power over on the Red Sox, looking for some home runs. Renfroe, fantastic against righties or lefties for years. Has a ton of pop, 3K, far too cheap. JD Martinez, we know how good he is against lefties, 4.4K. They're both playing in Fenway. Again, Montgomery, a lot worse versus righties and lefties. So I'm targeting those two guys. But those are basically my DraftKings plays so far. Again, night before, things can change, but that's basically what I got on tap. Next up, we'll give you the bets that I've got for today. And guess what? It's both the pitchers that I really like, and that's the reason why I like the bets. So A's going up against the Mariners, only a minus 130 favorite. I think that number is going to go up. Manaea, so much of a better pitcher than Flexen. Flexen's had his times where he does pretty well, but Manaea is absolutely the better pitcher. Again, huge fan of targeting teams coming out from a Coors game. So they just had a long stint there. They're now going to be back in Seattle. That is, like, again, some of the biggest changes in elevation. So over in Coors, curveballs, sinkers, those pitches don't drop as much because of the elevation. So a few studies have been done about this, and it's definitely a huge downgrade to your bats. for the first game back from Coors. So I like Manaea and the A's at a minus 128. Sorry, up to minus 130 by the time I just checked it right now. So it's going to keep going up probably. But minus 130, we'll say favorite going up against the Mariners. Next up, Braves, minus 130 versus the Phillies. Again, Morton going up against the Phillies. I think he's a way better pitcher than Matt Moore. I think that the Braves lineup, even without Acuna, is the better overall lineup. So this is easy for me. We got the better pitcher and the better lineup. Only a minus 130 favorite. I like the Braves here. I think both these lines are a little off, and I wouldn't be surprised if either of them were at minus 150 by late morning tomorrow or Thursday, because I'm recording this the night before. But that's basically it. Those are my picks. Again, don't forget to sign up for Prize Picks. I will be giving out those picks at some point tonight. Check out the Mayo Media Network feed over on Twitter, and they will tell you exactly what my picks are. And then, yeah, sign up using the promo code MMNMLB and get that nice little deposit bonus. I try and take advantage of all of them. I've done this before with Prize Picks, so I can't do it again. But absolutely fantastic opportunity. Absolutely fantastic site. You can bet props. You can bet fantasy points, overs, unders. You can do 2, 3, 4 picks at a time. It's all up to you. It kind of just depends on what you want to actually do. So go ahead, get signed up for that. And yeah, I guess I probably should tell you who I am. I'm Turd Ferguson, by the way, or Grant Neiffer, whichever one you want to call me. Work over at Roto Grinders, do some stuff over at Scores and Odds. Roto Grinders, the absolute best fantasy sports site out there, giving you all the information, analytics, articles, everything you could possibly want for baseball, basketball, football, tennis, I think. I don't know. NASCAR, Stevie's fantastic. So go check out that and Prize Picks, or Scores and Odds, giving you out some of the best betting picks in the industry. I currently am up 45 units, 46 units. I lost a few today, but 45, 46 on baseball in the season, 65% win rate. We got STL Cards over there, absolutely crushing it golf this year, up 100 units. We got Noto, all sorts of guys giving out picks almost every single day. So go ahead, check out Scores and Odds, check out Roto Grinders. It's been fun. I'll be back here next week. So I'm out of here. See you, kids.